unless you have something to talk.
I was giving Daria 100, but anyway, but it's okay. What I can just add as well on that point, guys, let's not lose hope. We cannot lose hope. What will our children do? Gen Zs who have died, what will it mean to them? That they just went there, offered themselves, and then the cowards in us, we took off because we are thinking. By the way, some of us know Ruto in person. He's a coward, I can tell you. That's why he surrounds himself with fools like Farouk Kibet and Sudis. People who can give him some courage. These things you're doing are shaking him to the core. The moment you see a president addressing the nation with snipers on the roof of KICC and other places, and with a private chopper, his own private chopper, hovering Nairobi, you have made your point. He's shaken. He's a coward. It just requires consistency. What is working is those of you who are good in spaces, continue hosting. Those of us who don't believe in going to the street, sawa, wachana na mambo ya street. Those who can believe that they can be able to do changes through katibas, the laws, or whatever, let's continue bubanding. This game does not have a formula, and nobody should lie to you. It's a question of our sovereignty. We are here to fight for our country and good governance, and we can do anything that will work and break away this government. Let it be, including whatever propaganda you can come up with. Yeah. So we are in a political warfare where there are no rules per se, and nobody should come here to sell the fear that it is impossible to remove Ruto. Those who believe it's impossible to remove Ruto, there's better as well just accept and keep off, discouraging the rest, or just DM the speakers and give your points, or be part of the other side of the oppressor. But in terms of correcting each other, it's very healthy. We have good conversation, but in a loving way, like comrades, because comrades, as you fight, there are bound to be mistakes. There are bound to be many judgment issues, or they're bound to be feeling that someone probably is betraying and is not. So those things should be ironed out, but it should not stick so much time. Like today, we have wasted 5 hours, almost 4 hours, fighting personalities and making it personal. Let's try to come with the points on what we can liberate our country. Those that can work, we do now, short term, long term, and mid-range. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lyson. Nicholas, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Now, I appreciate submissions by Lyson, and actually, if somebody was following my conversation, I wasn't trying to discourage anybody from believing that Ruto is removable. But I want us to, like Daria said, focus on the correct thing that can make us get a step ahead with this. And I have 3 suggestions. The first one, I've just said that we should start questioning the loose ends in the Constitution 2010 that gives the executive and the presidency so much powers that they do anything they want with our money and the powers vested on them. It might not mean that we can change the Constitution overnight or within a week or a month or a year, but if we need to do anything positive towards the laws that govern this country, towards making them work better for us, be formulated in a manner that helps the Kenyans, we have to start that conversation right now. We have to make everybody in power know that whatever gives them the excess power that they are abusing is displeasing us. Along the way, everything must always begin by a conversation. We must show the commitment and the will, and we have to make noise about it, that there are loose clauses in the Constitution that are not working for us. We have to start talking about that right away. Number two, if we need to remove tyranny of power in this country, we must start by using our spaces to lay the positive message about voting correctly and voting wisely. We must, every one of us, take the lead in using your X, using your YouTube channel, using your Facebook channel, using any social media channel you have, and talking to your groupings. Nice one, I've talked with. Some of us have a group of influencers, wherever you are from, the estate, the village, whichever, the town, the city. You have a group of 10 friends, 100 friends, or maybe you lead a church, you lead a point in the church, you have a group of 100 people to influence. Start the conversation against tribal voting pattern. Start the conversation against voting based on those who can give the best handouts, those who can give the best offers in terms of monetary bribes during the campaigns. We must start by creating sanity in this country so that by the time we need to vote out tyranny, no one will get back into the tribal cocoon of thinking to vote somebody just because he's a fellow Nandi, vote somebody just because he's a fellow Q, or is a Kamba, or because they're man, so they say, is aligned in so and so kind of a party, kind of a coalition. No. If we need to remove tyranny, we have to start the correct conversations right now by any form of influences that we need. And that is why, personally, I have been against focusing on personalities. Anyone who have been listening to me in the previous spaces, I have been against focusing on personalities. Let us focus on policies of governance. And let us focus on bringing a bill into the judiciary and empowering the judiciary. As we speak, the judiciary still depends on the allocation of funds from the executive. It means that if the president wants to frustrate the judiciary, he will cut down their budget. Why? Because the constitution gives him the power to do that. Why are empowered to allocate funds into any arm of government not bestowed upon the Salaries and Remuneration Commission to do it? I mean, these are the things we need to talk about. We need to make the country know that there are particular things that displeases us, particular things that will make even a good person end up be a bad leader when given power, because we are humans. And human nature is that when given an authority that's unchecked, an authority, if you give a man a blank check, what do you expect him to do? He'll write a considerable figure today, tomorrow he'll write a bigger figure. The next day, before you realize it, he'll write erroneous figures on the check because you have empowered him to do that. So can we start having the correct conversations towards the things that we need to get done? That is only my prayer. That's only my plea. Thank you.
Mr. Nicholas, let me ask you this quick question. Perhaps you talked about it, but there was a little bit of background noise. Sabia Toi, those are great feature, but so tell me, what is not working as far as us, being on space, like Mr. Lyson Kwanasema. So can you just briefly tell us maybe 2 or 3 points, what is not working with our revolution right now?
I'm back. I went out to shut down the noise. Children were having their happy times. So, first, what I've seen not working is us complaining about personalities. It does not work, friends. It does not work. We have managed to shake the government and throw away the finance bill because we are focusing on the finance bill. We have made enough noise about the Adani, and the government has thrown it away because we are focusing on that public-private partnership that was so opaque to us. We have been making enough noise about SHA and about the new funding model of the university, and somehow it made a breakthrough because the president came out to start explaining something by himself. It means that whenever we are focusing on a particular policy issue, we score. But provided we start focusing on this person bad, this person wants to lose, this person must vote, personalities is not working, guys. Focusing on person is not working. Focusing on Ruto himself will not work. Will not work. Focusing on Gachagua, focusing on Kidiki will not work. Let us focus on particular policies that we need not to go by. I think that's the only thing I'm trying to say. Anytime we focus on a particular issue that is tangible, we score. Anytime we focus on so and so, so and so, so and so, Mulima, what, this, what, we lose it. We lose it. The moment we focus on starting targeting a particular individual instead of particular policies that can change things, then I think we lose it. Like as somebody has just confessed, the entire 4 hours in the afternoon were wasted because people are focusing on talking about personalities. To me, it does not help. Let us talk about policies and let us give the country. I want us to start dating this conversation out of this space into other spaces. Like if you look at my Facebook account, Wadi Nicholas, it cannot go a week before I post something related to policy and related to how we are voting. Before I express my feeling on how we vote, on how we take policy, on how, let us start educating the public. Let us take it upon ourselves to educate the public about the governance, about policies, enlighten them, and about how we can start voting outside the tribal mentality and outside the handout mentality, and vote in competent and learned leaders. That is a conversation we can start with. We can do public education through that, civic education through that, through whichever means of influence we can. Then we can start focusing also on policies and the law and the constitution moving forward. Focusing on personalities does not work, in my view. Somebody might have a different opinion about that, but that's what I see. From wherever day we started this business of putting government to check upon ourselves, anytime we have ever focused on a particular issue that is policy, we always score. Anytime that we focus on Ruto and his deputy and so and so and so and so, and Raila and whatever you, we get relevant. We get relevant. I don't know whether it's missing it that way, but that's what I do see. That's why I'm against focusing on people. Let us focus on things that are serious, things that are policy, matters policy. Because when a policy is put in place, it is there for quite a long time before somebody thinks of changing it. So those are the things we should check on. That's my feeling.
All right, Mr. Nicholas, thank you. Yep, I agree with you 100%. Complaining about personalities. As much as we are open-minded about who comes on space, talk about almost anything, everything, but sometimes it depends where, what space, what is being people are talking about. But at the same time, you know, wasting time and listening, trying to correct people how they should be able to talk on space, and it's just a downer. Okay, at this moment, I see we have some listeners on here that I'd like to recognize. Kunar KK 10, I think I've heard you before. Jides, and then kuna Zing Sensei. Again, feel free to grab a mic or a speaker to talk. Okay. If I may chip in right now, because naona kuna mtu ambao anaomba speaker. One thing about creating these narratives, whether they're right or wrong, whatever, incorrect and all that, I think they do work. They do work, seriously. Because one time in Monai, I saw this video, gari zinapita kwa potholes, just like flying, Jogoo Road, and I saw that, and then I didn't pay even attention to like what was going in the background, like license plate, registration, hizo magari. I'm like, okay, this gotta be somebody tweeted. I'm like, Jogoo Road. I'm like, bam. I retweeted on my line, and then a few hours later, somebody from transportation department from Kenya was like, okay, this is not Kenya. Pay attention to what like do some tarara. You know how it usually goes. But I was glad that they were able to come up and try to defend themselves, like Jogoro, Nikosawa, and all that. We all know. We are Kenyans. Tunajua. We've seen the bridges. We've seen the bridges whereby, like, you on foot, like, even ukitembea kwa bridges, like, gari kipita at such a high speed, is like the wind can just move you, and you are likely to fall into that, into the water or the river. So, so the narrative, we'll get creative, and I'm telling you as Kenyans, like, it's working right now. Since your maandamano about ilianza 25th mpaka saa hizi, I can almost guarantee you that Ruto halali usingizi. Yeah, so it's working. It may not be seen like openly in public, but this guy does not sleep at night. So he's wondering what's going to happen next. Even though he got all the machinery, got people to kill citizens, and all that, but I'm telling you, he is not one guy that does not sleep at night. So yeah, so creative narrative. Ikipita kwa time yako, repost and include other human organizations that are fighting for human rights. Okay, so do my check. Japonjo bado uko? Anybody else? Let's see. Nicholas ameshaongea. So if there's anybody else on here, come up, grab a mic. While we still wait, one thing I've been asking myself, we want this change. How do we do it? I mean, we just like IBC, we want people to go, the right people to go in there, and I've been learning from this space from these spaces that no one is not an angel. So no matter who we vote for, there's always something going on, something that was done that, people talked about Matiangi, and now I'm seeing left, right, what he did, what he did not do. But the question is, I always must ask myself, like, when we vote for any individual to go in there, like, how do we change that? Because we want change. I mean, we have ideology right now going on, good governance and all that stuff. But even if we voted for somebody to get in there and change, is one person enough? Like, how do you even get the IBC to work? Kwa sababu kama ni mtu mmoja, tuseme mtu mmoja, say we vote for Lyson, aingie huko hivyo, and then akishaingia as a president, like, obviously we have other bad eggs in the government. Like, is this something going to take? How long will this take? I ask those questions. So please feel free, if you have anything to speak about or try to respond to that, please grab a mic. Thank you. Mic check. Japon Juko. Host, Fabish.
Hey, Fabish. Hey, all. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Just give me 2 minutes, then I'll be able to speak. Give me 2 minutes.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, I see kuna Mweru, if it is the one Mweru that I know, that I've listened to. If you have a chance, come on time, you're welcome to talk. Again, for the new listeners on here, we're looking for things that are working and not working. There's stuff we've been doing online that have been working. Alafu kuna zile mambo ambayo tukifanya online, and those things are not working. So we are expanding that list. Tunaona list hapa hivi. while we still wait. One other thing is I really like this when we go in space and talk like this. It is a great thing. It's a good thing. We talk about this. Kenyans, this is what we do. We talk. We talk. And you guys have no idea what is this doing to the world, to other countries. I don't know if you guys follow, like, these people that, believe in access, conscious world, and a lot is going. People are talking about Kenya right now. And evidently there's some, whatever is happening in Kenya right now, also in the outside world, people are talking about, economy, Bitcoins and different kind of currencies going on. So it's like something, it may be seen like this is some small talks we're doing right now online, but there's a bigger impact. And 10 years down the line, people will ask, California, what do we do? So, like one of our speakers mentioned, as much as we're being keyboard warriors, but also we talk about this stuff. The more we talk about it, and then we find ideas, what we did, what we did not do, and then we work from there. So this is a good thing. So, maybe perhaps to, if I may ask this question, talking about, how people move around. And I've seen the videos where we have these members of parliament, senators stopping traffic, working a job as buoy, Amajioni, they just decide to stop everything. Is this happening like everywhere? I know CPD, I've seen the videos, but is this happening, at county levels, outside Nairobi? If anybody knows about that, can let us know. Also, the roads. Wanasema njia zinatengenezwa and everything is fine. At your local levels, how are the roads looking? Somebody talk about that.
Rolji, manze, mi hata sijakuja kuchangia mjadala, nimekuja kuwasalimia na sema Rolji.
RKK, karibu.
Asante. Nimekuja kuwasalimia and Fabish and Japo and everyone else and kuwapongeza for the good job you're doing. It's going miles and sometimes you might not realize, but ukiona kitu kama hiyo ya JKI imedropiwa, then it means tunafanya kazi si bure and kupongeza kila mmoja, hata wenye hawaongeangi wako kwa Twitter wana repost, wanafanya nini, it goes a mile. So yeah, tujikazeni and the fight is not yet over and tujitie nguvu. Yeah, tujitie nguvu na tutiane nguvu. People are going through a lot, depressions, pressure, stress, nini. Yeah, talking to someone means a lot. Just knowing that mtu yuko poa, knowing that mtu ni mzima. Kuna watu wengi sana wako, they are going through a lot in silence and tuongeleshaneni, tujulianeni tu hali. Tujue watu wako poa, wanaendeleaje. Just that. It's just saying hi goes far, okay? Yeah, it's nilikuwa nakuja kuwasalimia, mimi sina mengi.
So RKK, that was even more than greetings. Ilikuwa more than salam. So yeah, little by little goes a long way. I agree. Naona Mwero amepanda kwa speaker, so anytime usichatu usiinue mkono, just talk. Hasa kuongea. So
morning. Here it's early in the morning. So morning, I just woke up and I was like, I've been thinking a lot about this Adani news. I see that's not the subject for today, but I honestly have to sort of say what I was saying. I posted a long post this morning because as much as we are celebrating this news of Adani being indicted and Ruto canceling the deal, which to me, I honestly received that with so much skepticism. Until we have proof that he's actually canceled these deals, honestly, I don't. As for me, I believe they're not canceled, and they're not going to be canceled. He's going to come up with some conniving way of sneaking everything in again, like we know it's his pattern. So let's not celebrate too soon. As a matter of fact, we should become more vigilant because yeah, I mean, we already know how he operates. He lies every single day. So him canceling Adani, if it's true, then good news. But receive it as a lie, just like with everything else he says. But I mean, in regards to this, the election day, this is what I was talking about in September, in October, that we need to be also paying and focusing attention to the upcoming election. And I remember I even counted how many days we had. Now we are down to 985 days to go to the 2027 election. So we need to start operating from a place of urgency because as much as we want to remove Ruto and vote in new people, we have already realized that we need to replace the MPs. We need to replace some of the senators after we saw what happened with Gachagua. We now realize that all of them are just, they're useless. They have no business being in office. So what are we doing about it? Are we identifying people amongst us who can be MPs that we need to nurture? What are we exactly doing about this? Because like I said, we have 985 days to go. Personally, standing here today, I foresee a situation where Ruto is going to win. Because we really have not started building and creating a candidate that is causing a very major wow effect on people that they will vote for him. And I hope, I mean, it's not even a matter of agreeing with me. I'm just sort of brainstorming what the outcome will be. The whole, for instance, I'll give an example. The Trump campaign is not a campaign that was created in 1 year. This is not something they created that they came up with and strategized in 2024, the year of the election. This is something they have been working on for months, for years. So we need to start doing that. We need to start working on the 2027 election. We need to start working on our candidates. And maybe it's happening behind the scenes because I'm only aware of maybe 2 people who are actively pursuing positions and have actively started immersing themselves in the communities where they want to be elected. But I mean, but that's still not enough. We need more people in office, and we have to come up with a mechanism where we support them and nurture them. But as it stands today, I mean, who has the movement produced? I mean, I know I saw Morara saying he wants to run, but who are the people who are running for MPs and all these other positions that we've identified? I mean, we've been talking about IDs and IABC. Maybe that needs to be the next initiative that we take up on. We now have evidence that online activism is actually really, really working. I feel like it's actually working at this moment and having more effect compared to going on the streets where they're just basically just arresting people. So maybe we need to have a week, maybe next week, where we dedicate online activism towards ideas or something. We identify something and do that. I mean, time is not on our side here. As a matter of fact, when people say that the election is a long way to go, what do you mean a long way to go? Do you understand what it takes or what entails building a campaign and getting a candidate elected? It's something that calls for a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of calculating and a lot of strategizing. So I think this should be the next thing that we start working on. Yes, during this time, we're still pursuing ways to get Ruto out of office or disqualified from the ballot, which I feel like we can achieve. But I mean, in regards to this whole election in 2027, I'm honestly, frankly, very, very worried. Very worried. I'm starting to really worry because I don't feel like there's any urgency amongst us. And especially in the movement, there's no urgency to start working on this actively. I'm just going to listen for now. I sort of arrange my thoughts because I do have a lot to say, but I have to sort of organize it. Otherwise, I'm just going to be just giving a word salad here.
Okay, not a problem. Mweru, hold on, Japonji. So yeah, Mweru, since you mentioned it's 985 days left until next election, that's not a lot. So so yeah, this is a matter of urgency, and but so here's the thing. One thing about elections is the last moment. Like, even if you pursue like 90% of the general population to vote against Ruto, there's always that last moment. Like, especially the villagers, people in the villages, like on Ogopa, better. There's this saying that usually goes around, like, for that, better the devil that you know. These people, the old people in the villages, may get scared. Like, are we voting for somebody new? We don't know him. So that's the one thing that I'm just putting out there. Maybe people talk about it. Like, no matter how much you are prepared, and then if you get time and mission, then we have people changing their mind at the last minute. But also, in addition to that, there's also the idea of, trying to find a way of getting enough signatures. Maybe these people that are in the parliament, these politicians, be able to impeach them out. We are hoping that this is something that I'm just trying to bring out here and be able to talk about. Is anybody be able to, are you guys talking? It's like I cannot hear anybody.
No, I
lost.
I thought you were speaking and you just maybe fell off. But I mean, I see what you're saying and I agree with you. And that's why I'm insisting. This is the time to start building rapport in the villages. If there are people here that want to run in their respective villages, it's better people start familiar. And I understand there's also a security element. But believe me, there are people who are already doing it in respective counties where they want to be elected, who are millennials and Gen Zs. I know of two. And it's going to take time to get these people to get to know you, the villagers who are the voters, to get to know you and become comfortable with you. So that is why I'm saying the sooner we start with, hey, I want to run and I want to run for this place, and you might not feel safe publicly disclosing, then you can start engaging in those respective counties so people get to know you, people are familiar with you, you start building a rapport, you start building credibility with them, they start familiarizing themselves with you, versus waiting until 2027 where you spring up as a new face whom they're not familiar with.
I agree. Yeah, so Mweru is in Bali. Please go speaker panel because we have more points to talk about. Japonji, go ahead.
Roll, hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so we have 29 listeners now on the space, and I had something I wanted to share with everyone here. There is currently a voting going on in the world. I shared on my profile about the most corrupt person of 2024, and we are trying to share that out. And if you can vote, please, you know who to vote for. Please vote for the most corrupt person of the year as Mr. Must Go. It's there. It's organized crime and corruption index. So please just do your due diligence, and I hope you will also do your part. 32 listeners. I'm counting on those 32 votes as we keep widening and sharing up. Okay, that's aside. So I've had Mweru, how are you doing? It's been long. Mweru, you're talking
Good.
about yes. I totally agree with you, but sometimes let's let's be realistic a little bit. I wish everyone could afford to vie for any parliamentary seat. You know, by when I talk about affording, I mean like if you look at the logistics of even trying to reach out to the county level, I mean reaching out to people, civic education only. Most youths who we expect to go for those seats, they can barely afford even like to get three meals per day, you know. So my suggestion would be, can we have something like a kitty? Once we have everything in line, everything formed, we can have something like a financial kitty whereby we try to sponsor our own for the seats that interest them. You know, we should be able to make progress. As I said before to Fabish also, see, Gen Z movement, the purpose of Gen Z movement, uh, the initial purpose was to get rid of finance bill. We can't use uh, the same method, you know, to to reach our goals, you know, like going forward. You know, it achieved its purpose up to that point. You know, we need to think, to strategize again. We need to think outside the box. You know, the small wins we are making. You know, for example, uh, if we really need to get rid of Ruto, what's the next move that we could be doing now, apart from the elections for 2027, which most of you will agree with me that Ruto is the IBC, is the judiciary, and is everything. Uh, most, forgive me, but most people are hopeless on that thing. So my solution will be, let's be ready for anything. I feel like there's something boiling down the carpet, and the faster we start pushing for unitary hashtags and work in unity, for like we collect the remnants of all the movements, speak one voice, put our personalities aside. For example, if we decide to push for like the next few weeks, we push against this Taifa care, you know, like let's go back to NHIF. It's not working, you know, let's not force it, you know, if we can come up with one hashtag to push for this, then it will make some sense, you know. Let's have that unity of purpose. We push something. I hate to go to spaces whereby we speak about the same things in all spaces but divided. And I think if we going by what's on the spaces, if that's how it's going to be in election, I think Ruto will just emerge winner at 8 a.m. because it's a divide tactic. Assuming we have like 5 presidential candidates, assuming, and then we divide our votes against those selected presidential candidates. Then the other side we don't even have to do a lot of campaigning; they will win easily, and that's a fact, you know. So, what is it that is preventing all the like-minded Gen Z and the people who are against it to come together? That's what we should be addressing. Why is it that we cannot bring everyone on board? You know, what are these differences? Why are we on personality attack? You know, like why do we have to do this? You know, can we come together as one family, united by the urge of getting rid of Ruto, and then we move forward from there? You know, I've been trying. Even every time I'm in space, I've tried to reach out and send links to other people who are not in space, try to bring them in. I've always done that, you know, because I try to assume or imagine that if we had all those people with the same voice, you know, the people with the same goal, same purpose, same motive, then we will be making bigger steps, you know. And 2027 is not far. Ruto campaigned for 8 years. That guy is known to the grassroots. We need to think fast. We need to come up with at least 4 or 5 presidential candidates. Then we take them through the process of eliminating or selecting. And then we need to start moving from there. Look what the other side did. When someone just gave out information that Matiang'i was interested in becoming a presidential candidate, which I don't even know if it's fake news because there was no video or Matiang'i himself confirming that. Then what happened? As we speak, there have been now 4 cases against Matiang'i in the court, you know. that's the system we are dealing with. That's it's there. There are live cases there. The government has reopened the files against him, and that's what they're planning on. They want to get rid of our candidates one by one. We name them, but we should not be coming out and naming our preferred candidates as I speak. Personally, I would bet on Maraga if he stood up to be a presidential candidate. I would be picking people like Maraga and Okiya Mtata, of course. Those are because they align with my ideology and our motive of getting rid of, and they've been on the front line towards this revolution. So that's what I would. But everyone needs to make the informed choice. Then let the candidates come together, and then that's the way to go. Otherwise, we'll find ourselves out of time, out of reality, and then it will down on us that we still have 5 more years of this guy. I cannot survive 5 more years of this guy. Thank you so much. I'll be listening. Nice.
Japonji, thank you for that submission. Naona hosta ameingia, but before hosta anainua mkono, so there's Effie. Before Effie ongee, Japonji, ulikuwa unaongea kuhusu your Paul. The most corrupt people in Kenya ama in the whole world. If it is possible, able repost. Weke kwa Jumbotron, then go ahead.
Okay, let me do that.
Yeah. Well, and please make sure that the Nabi Ruto is one of them, because I'm gonna find it hard to vote if Ruto is not part of it. So yeah. Okay, Effie, go ahead. And then I host Chukwe.
What's up, bro? How you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm good, bro. I just wanted to touch on a few things that my bro, Japo spoke about, and he literally just took some words out of my mouth. Yeah, we really need to start planning as early as possible, because 2027 is not too far away, and we need to really have a game plan, which we don't really have. And for me, I would suggest, if we ever find somebody, we need to find somebody who's not been involved with these people before, because we can't be using the same people who got us in this mess to try to get us out. We need to find somebody who they have no interaction earlier, who they had not interacted with earlier, somebody from nowhere, and I feel like somebody like what just said, the former CJ, Maraga, and Okiya. Although for me, Okiya is not really a presidential kind of guy, because I always feel like he's not really able to express himself very well. But he would be suitable for speaker or some other good position in the government where he can bring more change and maybe bring bills that actually pass laws that actually help the country in one way or the other. So the problem right now is in the same politics, a day is a very, very long time, because a lot can change. So we have almost 900 days before the next general elections. We don't have an IEBC. We can't even hold credible elections right now. The people who we want to remove from these seats are the guys who are supposed to actually get us commissioners to run the IEBC. So we find ourselves in a little bit of a quagmire, an impasse, where we want to remove these guys, but for us to remove them, we need for them to set up a commission for IEBC, and that's going to be really tough. But I don't know. I'm really hoping that one way or the other we get the commissions in place in good time, because as you all understand, there are some constituencies right now without members of parliament, and I really think that is very shitty as a country, that, there are people who are not represented in parliament. We don't even know if the CDF committees in their respective constituencies are still working. We don't know if bursaries are being disbanded to the right people. And if they are, who is actually responsible for this? Who is answerable for this in case something bad happens? In case money for intended for development of the constituency or money intended for bursaries is not given to the people that it's supposed to go to. Who are we going to call in these constituencies? The other day, an MCA died, and I can assure you guys they're not going to be a by-election anytime soon, because who is going to run the by-election? So technically, some people would argue that the same IEBC that made Kindiki, they approved him as suitable to be the deputy president, is the same one that should run the by-election. But I know Parliament will never allow it, because that will also give us another loophole to recall them and use that IEBC to do a by-election in almost all the constituencies. So we're in a bit of a tricky place, and I'm really hoping that one way or the other, I don't really know all the law jargons, but one way or the other, we can find ourselves in a place where we are able to hold another free and fair election. For me, I would hope that we do a lot of civic education and as much as we can, because a lot of people don't really know what they expect from the government. They just want the price of hunger to go down. And it becomes a little bit tricky because, the economy is just not just about hunger. We cannot be gauging our whole economy with the price of hunger. I mean, I understand it's a staple food of home of Kenya and we eat it a lot, but we can't really be saying, yo, angalia, economy iko sawa. And you ask somebody, can you prove it to me that economy iko sawa? Angalia bei ya unga. Even like really learned people, that is literally that's how they quote that the economy of the country is doing well. Not everybody eats unga, and I really wish that there's a lot of civic education down there, that people understand what rights they have, what the roles of their MPs are, what their work is, representation and oversight of our committees and all that, how much they earn actually, because MPs in this country earn a lot of money. And I really hope that we drain the swamp at the end of the day, because Ruto must go is not enough. Everybody's got to go, bro. Everybody's got to go. They are all corrupt to the core. From the president all the way to the sub-chief, everybody is corrupt in that country. Everybody get a little power and they just go nuts. They just want to do whatever they want to do. Nobody's going to stop them. The courts have been compromised. The parliament is compromised. The Senate is compromised. You see what they did with the deputy president the other day. Yeah, so like I'm saying, the only thing we have right now is our voices, online activism, and hopefully our votes. And I'm really hoping our votes count, because stealing election in Kenya is not a new thing. People have done it before. Chances of them doing it one more time are very high. We need to be very, very vigilant. So we just need to find new ways, man. And I know Fabish has always been trying to get people together, KOT and all the rest. Like, let's have one voice. Let's speak in one voice. But as I said, some people get a little power in their head, and I got a lot of followers on Twitter, and I can do whatever I want. It's only my opinion that counts. Somebody says something else again what I'm saying, then I'm out of there. I don't want to be part of that group or movement anymore. It's becoming very tough for us to move with one voice. So I would really hope that one way or the other, we all find a common ground, which is Ruto must go, and that we all trying to bring change in the country. Because I know everybody, some people are going home for this festive season, and you're going to be shocked how effed up that country is. It really is. Like, there are a lot of poor people who don't have even meals, and you got an MP earning almost 1.2 million bob, plus yet the allowances and all that. It is crazy, So I'm really hoping that it's not just on the spaces, that we are going to do something about it. And the ones in the diaspora, we can help where we can, whether it's financially or whether it's buying material for civil education. I think people are ready for that, All right, thank you very much.
Hey, Effie, before you go, great submission. So you talk about civil education. I'm kind of undivided when it comes to that. People in the village, you tell me, what kind of life are they going through right now and not realize the country's going through like it's a shithole? Excuse my language.
Yeah, bro.
Like what, like you talk about civic education, it's fine. People gotta learn the law, like not the law, they learn about we have a constitution, their rights. Just to give an example, like a cop is not supposed to arrest you without a warrant. If you come over, it's fine. But at this moment, if the kids are disappearing, watona potea, you cannot find, you cannot even like account watolichomeka kwa some kind of boarding school. You cannot account as a government. What happened in Quarry? I'm not trying to start some shit up, but that thing just gets me like, I usually think 2027 in Bali sana. Like something needs. Go ahead.
My G, 2027 looks very far. It feels very far for me too. I would have hoped actually that Ruto would have just said yesterday, I've tried my best. I'm unable to do this. I'm going to tender my resignation as fast as possible. But those are just pipe dreams, and we know they will never happen. I want to talk about civic education is very important because with it, that even people in Ushago and all that, they would really understand their rights and they know the questions. You realize most Kenyans don't actually think they pay taxes. They don't know if they pay taxes because the majority of Kenyans are in the informal sector. So it's very hard for them to actually quantify how much taxes they paid. But they don't really understand that they pay taxes indirectly, like from products they use every day, like milk, bread, eggs, cooking oil, gas, and all that stuff. People who drive cars, they pay through the fuel tax levy and all that. So you gotta tell them that kama hakungekuwa na taxes, hii mkate ungenunua 10 bob, for instance. But because of the added taxes that are imposed on tariffs and all that and all this bread, that's why you're buying this bread that's expensive. That for me is civic education, you understand? And you tell them, look, there's supposed to be free education in these countries. Nobody can really tell me here why we have CDF when we have free education. Why do you need to dish out bursaries when the education should be free in this country? You understand what I'm saying? That for me is civic education. So they will ask themselves, why did I vote for this guy or this woman when he isn't doing what's supposed to do? Why do I have to go line up for 2 or 3 hours just to get 2,000 for bursary? I have never understood that. So for me, civic education is more enlightening these people that, you should demand for more because it is your right. It's not favors. Nobody's doing you a favor here to build that road. Nobody's doing you a favor for your child to go to school. Nobody's doing you a favor for your health center right at home or your level 5 hospital that has all the equipments, modern equipments. Nobody's doing you a favor. You have earned that. It is your right. That is civic education for me.
Okay.
So that when you go vote, you vote for somebody who's actually having the work done, or at least has a way to have the work done. Because we should not forget, the politicians in Kenya are very, very clever. They will always say the sweetest things. I will do this, I will do that, I will do this, I will do that. You know how Ruto got in the government. He came with the hustler movement and, he tricked everybody. Now, the hustlers are the ones crying. The dynasty is the one he keeps on saying about. He's trying to join them. He want to be like him.
So, in addition to that, I think there's a group of people that needs also civic education. We're talking about universities of Kenya, the higher education organization. Like I'm thinking they failed. Back days, I don't know how old you are, but millennials, we know when something was going on with the government, Kenya Poly, Nairobi University, like they went on the street.
I'm old enough to remember that. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about.
So do you think these lecturers, we have emerging issues in the society. If something is going on and you educate these kids, in a room somewhere and educate them and empower them, and now they can be able to not enough realize that things are bad. Before, like like while I was in Kenya, something was going on with the government. You hear it like it's bad. It doesn't go too far. Like 1 month, maybe tops. Kids on the street, and then the government now knows like, hey, you know what? This is not cool. Like let's back up a little bit. But right now, like where are these universities? Where are these lecturers? And now size Mauma size, they don't get paid. So
you see what they did with Moi University. There was this vice chancellor that was actually appointed for this university a while ago, and Sudi and one of his minions, they went and they were like, no, we gotta have someone from our, from our region. This region university's gotta have somebody from, the Kalenjin communities. And it didn't even go more than 5-6 years. That university it's going in insolvency. That the nigga they put there has stolen so much money. They couldn't even pay women who wash dishes in that, the cleaners of the university. That is how much effed up it is. And you were talking about how I remember the times of Kenya Poly on Haile Selassie Avenue. They was just close up the whole street, and it's brings so much drama until the government actually listens to them. But you will find that these days, we are lacking a lot of patriotism in Kenya, and everybody's got a price, bro. Everybody's got a price. And some of these people we've put up there, like the student presidents, they are so cheap. They just, they just bought very fast, and it's becoming very tough right now. You just saw yesterday Ruto saying that Adani, the Adani deals are cancelled. And these minions just stand up to clap. Like they were not just praising Adani like 24 hours ago, talking and saying how Adani is such a good company and it is not corrupt and all that. So it becomes, it becomes very tough to fight for people who are also still fighting. Unaenda 10 steps ahead, then somebody pulls you another 20 steps behind. Progress inakuwa a little bit slow, and you're not really able to get yourself where you want to be. So yeah, I think we're safe. We are facing a very big uphill task, and we can only do it when we do it together. I think that's my opinion on that.
Great. Thank you, Effie. All right, before you go, welcome to stay around on the speaker panel. What is not working online for us? Like as far as just maybe one point to be able to put across how we've been doing things. Because we've been making a list of what is working and not working. So what is not working for us?
I think the problem is, online activism is good, but it has made people think that their opinion is the only thing that matters. Because I have 20,000 followers and you have 3 followers, I got more sway than you. What I say goes. You're not, you don't want to listen to my opinion. And, it becomes very hard for you and I to sit down and talk when you're already looking down on me before we even begin a conversation. It becomes very tough. And, I used to tell people that the movement is good, it's organic, but we should also look at the possibilities. If Ruto doesn't die, for instance, or doesn't resign, we need to go political now. At some point, we gotta go political. And that's where people like Morara came up and all that. And, what happened to Morara. They really, really fought Morara. Although Morara came out too early, I felt like, his timing was really bad. But the problem I think we're facing now, ni kiburi. Just, people just need to put their pride down, fight for the country, you can raise your kiburi baadaye when you've saved the country. But for now, just, listen to the experts, people who know what they're talking about. Also listen to people who are not experts. They might have good opinions on anything. They might see things differently than you. And we're gonna move forward. But you have the big wigs. You have Osoro or Hanifa, Boniface Mwangi, and Akina KOT, Akina Cyprian, Akina Amerix. Everybody's trying to go. Everybody's trying to trend. Everybody's trying to get engagement. And everybody's just throwing words everywhere. There's not that one common voice. The only common voice everybody has right now is Ruto must go. But nobody's talking about how. Because, my G, I can tell you for free, we are never going back to the streets again. We had that one chance. Ruto is the kind of guy, if you aim, you gotta make sure you take the shot once and for all. You don't miss. It's one shot, one kill kind of guy. and we missed that opportunity. I want you to tell me, has ever been another Mandamano that has been as effective as the one for the June 25th? And there will probably never be, because even the people who organized that Mandamano, the people who influenced, not organized, rather influenced, they are all on different spectrums. We are not the same. There's not that common voice that we had. Ruto must go, finance bill must go. We don't have that anymore. Everybody is trying to be relevant in their own messed up way, and that is where we're losing the plot. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, Mr. Afi, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, bro.
So, listeners, I see we have new people, listeners in the house. Kioti Sonko, welcome, Karibu. I saw your work, one of your videos about Buhungu Stadium. It's messed up, but great job.